Hamilton and Leclerc were not furious because Ferrari lost pace in Austria. They were furious because Ferrari saw the tire problem coming and still could not stop it. That is the part that changes everything. Leclerc started second. Hamilton started third. 2 Ferraris inside the top 3. After Hamilton's victory in Spain, this was supposed to be the moment Ferrari proved the comeback was real. But then Sunday exposed the truth. The tires faded. The grip disappeared. The strategy collapsed into survival. And the race pace Ferrari needed was gone before the fight could truly begin. This was not one unlucky stint. This was not one bad setup call. This was Ferrari's hidden tire degradation issue exploding in front of Mercedes, Red Bull, and every rival waiting for a weakness. And now the question inside Maranello is brutal. If Hamilton and Leclerc can put the car in position, but the SF26 destroys its tires when the race gets serious, how long before frustration turns into a real crisis? Because Austria may not have been just a bad Grand Prix. It may have been the warning that Ferrari's biggest enemy is not another team. It is the tires underneath them. Subscribe to the channel. Austria was supposed to calm Ferrari down. That is why the tension feels so dangerous now. Because after Hamilton's victory in Spain, Ferrari had finally found something the team had been desperate for. Belief. Not just hope. Not just another promise. Belief that the SF26 could become more than a car with occasional flashes. Belief that Hamilton's move to Ferrari was starting to make sense. Belief that Leclerc would not have to keep carrying Saturdays alone, only to watch Sundays slip away. Spain gave Ferrari oxygen. Austria took it back. And it did it in the most painful way possible because for a few hours, Ferrari looked like the team had survived the danger. Leclerc qualified second. Hamilton qualified third. 2 Ferraris inside the top 3. That should have meant control. It should have meant pressure on Russell. It should have meant strategy options, clean air, and a genuine chance to fight for the win. When a team puts 2 cars that high on the grid, it is not supposed to spend Sunday managing fear. It is supposed to attack. But Ferrari already had a problem hiding beneath the surface. And the drivers knew it. Leclerc had already warned that Ferrari did not look competitive enough on Friday. He pointed to the long straights where the car was losing too much time. Then came the line that made everything worse. Ferrari was negatively surprised by its corner performance. That is the sentence that should have shaken the garage. Because if a car is weak on the straights, the corners must save it. If the car is weak in the corners, the straights must protect it. But Austria gave Ferrari neither comfort. The straights punished them. The corners did not rescue them. And once those 2 weaknesses connected, the tires became the place where the whole problem exploded. That is what Hamilton and Leclerc were really fighting. Not just Mercedes. Not just Red Bull. Not just the Red Bull ring. They were fighting a chain reaction inside their own car. The car lost time on the straights, so the drivers needed stronger exits. To get stronger exits, they had to ask more from the rear tires. But when the rear tires were stressed, they heated up. When they heated up, they lost grip. When they lost grip, the car slid more. And when the car slid more, the tires got even worse. That is the cruel loop Ferrari fell into. And once a car enters that loop, the driver can feel the race shrinking around him. At first, it is just a small warning. The rear does not bite quite as cleanly. The throttle has to come in a little more carefully. A corner exit loses sharpness. A lap time softens. Then the problem grows. The pit wall starts talking about tire life. The driver starts protecting instead of attacking. Strategy becomes less about how to win and more about how to stop the damage from spreading. That is not racing from power. That is racing from limitation. And that is why the frustration from Hamilton and Leclerc makes sense. They did the hard part first. Leclerc put the car on the front row. Hamilton put the second Ferrari right behind him. Together, they gave Ferrari the exact grid position the team needed. They gave the engineers and strategists a chance to fight from strength. But the race pace did not protect that chance. That is the part that turns disappointment into anger. Because drivers can accept being beaten by a faster car. They can accept a difficult circuit. They can accept a strategy gamble that does not work. But it is much harder to accept a problem the team already saw on Friday, when that same problem becomes the story of Sunday. That feels different. That feels like a warning ignored even if the team worked all night to contain it. And inside Ferrari that creates pressure. Not loud pressure. Not theatrical pressure. The real kind. The kind that sits in debriefs. The kind that appears when a driver explains what he felt, and the data confirms it. The kind that grows when everyone knows the car had enough speed to qualify high, but not enough race strength to stay there. That is the most dangerous version of a Formula One problem. A slow car is simple. A fragile car is complicated, because a fragile car gives you hope first. It qualifies well. It lets Leclerc deliver a lap. It lets Hamilton believe the momentum from Spain might continue. It lets the garage imagine the weekend turning into a statement. Then Sunday arrives and the tires start asking for payment. Lap after lap, corner after corner, decision after decision. And by the time the full problem is obvious, the race has already moved away. That is exactly why Austria hurt Ferrari so much. The qualifying result made the team look dangerous. The race made the team look exposed. And rivals will not forget that. Mercedes will not forget it. Red Bull will not forget it. Every team watching Ferrari will understand the same thing. If the SF26 can be pushed into rear tire stress, Ferrari becomes easier to control. If the car is vulnerable on the straights, every corner exit becomes a pressure point. If the strategy is limited by tire wear, rivals can wait for Ferrari to blink first. Because a car can improve in one area and still fail the race's most important test. It can feel better for a lap and still degrade too quickly over a stint. It can qualify strongly and still lack the race pace needed to control Sunday. That is the trap Ferrari fell into. The grid made the team look strong. The stint length made the car look fragile. And fragile is the word that creates anger. Drivers can work with difficult. They can work with imperfect. They can work with a car that has one clear limitation. But fragile is harder. Because fragile means the driver never knows when the weakness will start costing more than the pace is worth. It means every attack has a price. Every defense has a price. Every push lap might damage the next phase of the race. That is mentally exhausting. And when two drivers feel that at the same time, the pressure moves beyond one side of the garage. This becomes a Ferrari problem. Not a Leclerc problem. Not a Hamilton problem. A Ferrari problem. That is why the post-race conversations matter so much. The engineers can look at tire temperatures. They can examine rear sliding. They can study traction zones. They can compare the straight line loss. They can look at how the car behaved when fuel came down and tire age went up. But the drivers will bring something the data cannot fully express. The feeling of losing the car underneath them. The feeling of knowing a race that started with opportunity is becoming a calculation of damage. That is where fury comes from. Not from impatience. From knowing what was possible. Leclerc knew what was possible because he started second. Hamilton knew what was possible because he started third and had just won in Spain. Ferrari knew what was possible because two cars inside the top three should never feel like the beginning of a race controlled by weakness. But Austria turned it into exactly that. And the wider consequences are serious. Because the championship fight does not wait for Ferrari to solve itself. Russell won. Verstappen recovered. Antonelli stood on the podium. While Ferrari was searching for answers, rivals were taking results. That is how pressure compounds. One race exposes the weakness. The next race tests whether it remains. Then the next one punishes it if the answer is still not there. Ferrari cannot let Austria become the first chapter of that pattern. Because if the tire degradation returns at another power track, the conversation changes completely. Then people stop calling Austria a difficult weekend. They start calling it evidence. Evidence that the SF26 has a narrow window. Evidence that Ferrari can shine when the circuit suits it, but struggle when the track demands efficiency and rear tire control. Evidence that Hamilton and Leclerc are being asked to cover a limitation the car should not keep forcing onto them. That is the dangerous road. And Ferrari has to block it quickly. The solution might come from setup. Maybe the team can adjust how the car loads the rear tires. Maybe suspension changes can calm the rear axle. Maybe differential settings can improve traction. Maybe a better balance window can reduce overheating and give the tires a longer life. That would be the best version of the answer. But if the cause is deeper, then Ferrari has a bigger fight ahead. Because design-level weaknesses do not disappear between races. They require development time. They require confidence in the concept. They require upgrades that do more than create hope. And Ferrari is running out of room for hopeful explanations. Hamilton and Leclerc need results that prove the car has changed. Not promises. Not partial answers. Not another strong Saturday that collapses into tire management. They need a Sunday where the Ferrari holds. A Sunday where the tires survive. A Sunday where the race pace stays alive long enough for both drivers to attack with confidence. Until that happens, the tension will keep growing. Because every driver can accept managing tires as part of racing. But no elite driver wants to feel like the car's main weakness is deciding the race before his talent can fully decide it. That is what Austria threatened to become. A race where Hamilton and Leclerc were not beaten only by rivals, but restrained by the behavior of their own Ferrari. And that is the truth that hurts most. The car has speed. The drivers have quality. The team has ambition. But if the tires cannot carry that speed across a full Grand Prix, all of it becomes fragile. And fragile Ferrari weekends create exactly the kind of fury Maranello cannot afford. Because fury from Hamilton and Leclerc is not just emotion. It is pressure with evidence behind it. The evidence was on Friday. The evidence was in the tire degradation. The evidence was in the limited strategy. The evidence was in the way second and third on the grid failed to become the race Ferrari needed. Now Ferrari has to answer that evidence. Because if they do not, the next time the tires start to fade, the question will not be why the drivers are furious. The question will be why Ferrari let the same warning become reality again.